This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good night, Shabbos, Rabbi. This Shabbos, aside from being Tisha, is also Parshas Devarim. So I want to share with you something very important from Parshas Devarim, from the Kesav v'Hakabbalah. Rav Yaakov Tzvi Mecklenburg, one of the authoritative commentators on the Chumash, and he is very interested on the pasuk in Parak Aleph, pasuk Tezvav. Va'ekach es rashei shiftechem, I will take the heads of your tribes, anoshim, chachamim, viduim, men, wise men, knowledgeable men, va'etenoisam, and I will make them rashim alechem, heads, sarei alafim, princes of thousands, the sarei meos, princes of hundreds, the sarei chamishim, princes of 50, the sarei asaris, princes of 10, the shoitrim l'shiftechem. Well, if we make a cheshbon, and you have a people of 600,000 Yidden, and you were making sarei alafim, how many sarei alafim would there be?
600.
600. And how many sarei meos?
6,000.
6,000. And how many sarei chamishim?
12,000.
And how many sarei asaros?
60,000.
60,000. Okay? But exactly, that's a lot of rabbis. Yeah? That's a lot of rabbis. I know, everyone today, but back then, even for back then, that was a lot of... What do you need so many... What are they doing? Right? Well, says the Kesav HaKabbalah, Kol arba minim ha'ila, all these four type ha'yunitzrachim el ha'mishpat, they were needed for judging. Chumash Kesav, like it says in Yisrael, Parak Yud Beis, Pasuk Chavches, v'shaftu es ha'am b'chaleis. However, not like we think that they're just a hierarchy. You have, the lower court, and then the higher court, and the higher court, and then the Supreme Court. It wasn't just a hierarchy. The Kesav HaKabbalah is going to tell us a big chiddush, and it's from the Goin. Right? We mentioned that the Kesav HaKabbalah often says chidushim from the Vilna Gaon that are not found elsewhere. Each job was a distinct job. It was a different job. Mikamakam komin min asarm hayulai hismanus miyuchad elav levad. Each type was a distinctive role. And what are they? Now we're going to learn what are all these four rabbis for. V'zeh sarei ha'alafim hayu hamanhigim b'milchama latzeis v'lavai. The sarei ha'alafim were generals of war. War generals. Okay? After all, they needed to go into Eretz Yisrael and to attack, whether it was Amalek or defend the people. You had 1,000 generals. Excuse me. Sarei alafim, how many generals? 600. That's a very reasonable amount. Sarei hameos hayu miuchadim gam lios shoftei ha'amamish. They were the judges. So you have how many judges? 6,000 judges. Now, it says the Kesav HaKabbalah brings a beautiful raya. Do you remember in Parshas, the end of Sefer Bamidbar, in Parak Lamed Aleph, in Parshas Matos, by the war against Midian, Pasuk says Lamed Aleph Yadaw. This is mamish, a beautiful raya. It says, "Vayiktzayf Moshe al pekudei achayil." Moshe got angry at the officers. What was his anger? He says, "Hachayisem kol nekeva." Why do you let the women live from Midian? You should have killed them. Who did he get angry at? Sarei ha'alafim, v'sarei hameos, haba mitzvah ha'mochama. Moshe only got angry at the sarei ha'alafim, the same as why didn't he get angry at the sarei chamishim and the sarei asaros? The answer is because they all have different jobs. The job of the sarei alafim is they were the generals. So Farштeitzach, Moshe Rabbeinu is going to get angry at them. The Sarei Meos also, they were the judges of the people. They were the ones who issued the decision to keep someone alive. So Moshe only got angry at the Sarei Alaf and the Sarei Meos. That was their job. V'chein vayikrevu el Moshe ha'pekudim asher la'alfei hatzava Sarei ha'alafim Sarei Meos. Whenever in Torah it talks about war, who's mentioned? Only the Sarei Alafim and the Sarei Meos, because their distinct jobs, Sarei Alafim were war generals, Sarei Meos were judges. Amnam. What was the job of the Sarei Chamishim? Sarei HaChamishim hayu miyuchadim lelamed Torah liYisrael. The job of the Sarei Chamishim, they were the Torah teachers, the Rabbeim. V'heima nekram b'chol makom Zekenim. Whenever in Chumash you see the word Zekenim, they are the Sarei Chamishim. V'heim hameulim shebekulam. And they were the greatest of them all. Greater than the generals, greater than the judges, greater than the shotrim, were the malamdim. That's the highest level. You would think, no, the highest level is Sarei Alafim, right? I always thought, Sarei Alafim, after all, you have 1,000 people under you. These rabbis only have 50 people. No, that's the highest achievement. That's why, by the Klalos in Sefer Yeshaya, Hine Hashem Meser Miyushalayim Sarei Chamishim. By the Churban, who is the first to be accountable? The Malamdim. They're not doing the job. Yeah, it's the greatest achievement, but they're the first to blame. Ba'amar Chazal in Masechta Chagiga Sheyedei Lisav Litein Beheichum Shei Torah Sheyesh Ba Chamishim Parshios. You still have the Chagigos out? I knew there was a reason we took them out today, right? This is Kedushin.
No, here's Chagiga.
The Gemara in Chagigos says on Daf Yudalid. The Gemara says on the pasuk Hinei Hashem Meiser Mishalayim. Thank you, Sarach Hamishim. It says, who are these Sarach Hamishim? Says the Gemara in Chagiga that this refers to those who knew Chamisha Chumshei Torah, which has in it the 50 Parshas. Why are they called Sarei Chamishim? Because this was their expertise.
600,000. Well, Sarei Chamishim.
Sarach Chamishim, Al Tikri Sarach Chamishim, Ela Sarach Chumashim. Okay. Says the Kesav HaKabbalah. Amnam, what are the Sarei Asarais? They were the policemen, L'kayim Apsaktin, that whatever the judges issued, you need people to enforce it. Now let me ask you a question. The Sarei Chamishim who taught Torah were how many?
1,000.
And the Sarei Meos who were judges were? 6,000. So there were double the number of Rabbeim than there were judges. Why is that? So he says a beautiful pshat. Because halacha is you could only judge b'yayim. You're only allowed to judge in the day. But Torah is v'higisa by yaimam v'alayim. So therefore you had double the amount of rabbeim as you had judges. Because judges are only b'yayim, and the malamdim is b'yayim u'v'alayla. He says, v'hayu has a kanim kefel keneged ha'shoftim. There's a kanim where double the shoftim. L'fisha mishpat einoi ella b'yayim. Judgments was only a day. The lomad ha-Torah bein b'yayim bein b'layla. Says the Kesav HaKabbalah, Udvarav kilurin la'inayim. These words are an elixir to the eye. Like the author of the Kinnis was, Rebbe Lezer, Hakalir. Okay. Says Kesav HaKabbalah, based on this pshat of the Goin, we can answer Tosfos' Kasha in Sanhedrin. And I know you've been bothered by it for years and you're having trouble sleeping, but tonight you'll be able to sleep very comfortably because you're going to have an answer to Tosfos' Kasha.
What's the Kasha?
Oh, you want to know the question? I'll tell you the question also. Okay. V'nesiyashiv bam tmiyas ha-Tosfos. We can answer the question of Tosfos. V'haran. Teheichi amrinon. In other words, if we're going to add up all the how many Sarei Alafim?
600.
And how many Sarei Meos?
6,000.
And how many Sarei Chamishim?
12,000.
Sarei Asarais? 60,000. Add them all up. 78,600. Yeah? 60,000. And 12,000 is 72,000. And 6,000 is 78,000. And 600 is 78,600.
12.5% of the total population was a big shot.
So there are two problems here. First of all, that's a lot of rabbis. That's a big percentage. And number two, it's not true. You're not going to have 78,600 sarim. Why? Because let's say once you have 600 Sarei Alafim. So then you don't have a population of 600,000 anymore. It's only 599,400. So the Sarei Meos are not going to be 6,000. They're going to be 5,994. And then the Sarei Chumashim are not going to be 12,000. It's going to be 11,868. So the numbers don't work out.
So instead of 78,000 total, it must be like 72,000 or 73,000.
Right. So it's not true. The numbers don't work. But according to the Goyin, it's beautiful. There's no hierarchy here. There are 600 Sarei Alafim, and they're not any less or greater than the Sarei Meos, and there's 6,000 independent Sarei Meos, and there are 12,000 Sarei Chumashim, and there's 60,000 Sarei Saros. In other words, if it's a hierarchy, then the numbers have to keep on diminishing, and when you take a percentage, you have to remove the first hierarchy. Yeah. So it says, now we can answer Tosfos Kasha, because the Heicha Amrinon. How could you say Sarei Alafim were 600, and Sarei Meos were 6,000, and Sarei Chumashim were 12,000, and Sarei Asaros were 60,000? When you subtract from 600,000, Taf Reish 600, L'Sarei Alafim, L'Mishkach Hasoid Vav Alafim, L'Sarei Meos. You're not going to have 6,000 Sarei Meos. You're only going to have 5,994.
Rabbi, we said the jobs of each one were different. Sarei Meos were judges. So why would you even have to say that you have to reduce them? Because
no,
the generals still had to be in the population to have a judge.
No.
Even though they were general.
But that's what we're saying. The simple pshat, according to the simple pshat, it's a hierarchy. There are great judges and lesser judges and lesser judges and lesser judges. So if it's a hierarchy but everyone's doing the same job, then you need to subtract the Sarei Alafim when you're figuring out the Sarei Meos. Right. But according to Divrei Hagra, but according to the Gra, Ein Makam L'Tmi Yasam, there's no room to ask this question. Kiaf Shekulam Hayu Shoftim, Mikal Makam Kol Echad Hayu Lo Ikar Hismanas Avadi. Each one had a distinct role. Sarei Alafim L'Anhagas HaMelchama, the Sarei Alafim to lead the war. Sarei Meos Lishbeit Esam, the Sarei Meos to judge the people. Sarei Chumashim L'Lame Torah Barabim, and the Sarei Asaros as the Shaitrim. Then he says, about 5 lines from the end, V'hinei l'Rabbi Seinu, for our rabbis, Haya Mispar Kasam Shivas Ribai Ushmain Asam V'Sheshma. There's 78,600, and all the Mefarshim say that's a lot of rabbis for a Klal Yisrael. But according to the Gra, now the truth is, according to the Gra, it doesn't really minimize it by that much, but at least it's a little bit less, and it makes it a little bit easier to understand.
1 out of every 8 people was Sar.
Yeah.
With 600,000, you have 78,000.
Yeah.
1 out of every 8 people.
Yeah.
60,000 police.
He says he ends off, Uladivrei Hagra, Kushyasa Meikara Lesa. There's no question to begin with. Kilafi Ikar Hismanusam, Gam Kamaisam Haylafi Arai. Every percentage, every population needed a certain percentage, and according to the Gra, it was not a hierarchy, but instead, rather, it was distinctive roles. I wish everyone a good Shabbos and easy fast.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.